Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. I am Paula Fontana, Vice President of Corporate Partner Development with the National Black MBA Association, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the State of the Association. So, our mission is to lead in the creation of educational, wealth building, and growth opportunities for our members throughout all stages of their careers as students, professionals, and entrepreneurs. And today we give you a peek behind the curtain to give you an update as to how we are progressing towards that mission. Leadership matters. It really takes on a heightened significance during periods of change and uncertainty. Integrity matters. It provides that moral compass or North Star which guides organizations to operate with honesty, fairness, and respect. Integrity is the foundation for building trust, maintaining morale, and achieving long term success. So it is my distinct pleasure to introduce a leader with integrity. Orlando Ashford's 30-year career spans leadership roles at several Fortune 500 companies. Most recently, he served as Chief People Officer for global digital sports platform Fanatics until his retirement in December 2024. During his time there, he oversaw all aspects of human resources and expanded into new lines of business. In addition to leading talent acquisition, employee and organizational development, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and internal and external communications for Fanatics, he also spearheaded the development of the Fanatics Foundation and Fanatics' first of its kind partnership with Make a Wish. Orlando holds a Bachelor of Science degree and Master of Science degree in organizational leadership and industrial technology, both from Purdue University. Orlando is an astute businessman, a thought leader, an author, a husband, and a father. In addition to all his accomplishments and accolades, I can personally attest to the fact that Orlando is a good person and a leader with integrity that will guide this association through uncertain times, ensuring that we emerge stronger on the other side. Please join me in welcoming our interim president and CEO, Orlando Ashford.
All right. Well, Paula, thank you for that wonderful, thoughtful introduction. That's amazing. I am excited to be here. And as Paula mentioned, I had probably the shortest retirement in history. I retired at the end of December, and I joined this organization 45 days ago. And so my charge is to give you a sense of what's happened over this last 45 days and some perspective on where we're going as an organization into the future, and not just myself, but myself and the rest of the leadership team. And so the first reflection that I have to say is just thank you. I have been humbled with all of the thank yous, the emails, the texts of support and encouragement as I move into this role. And let me just spend like a minute explaining why do this post retirement, short retirement. And so, organization like this, 55-year history, and doing amazing work. And so, first, we have to acknowledge the founders and the leaders that started this organization and had that vision 55 years ago. And an organization makes it that long because, one, they do good work, they have big impact, people appreciate that, but they also pivot. And I think this is a moment in time where there's going to be pivoting required. We are in the middle of some unique times as DEI is under significant pressure. I'd actually use the word attack. And so we as an organization, as an association, need to think through what are the things that we need to do and can do to make sure that this organization is delivering against its mission, protecting and enabling and supporting the members, and then transforming, and that word is a word you'll hear us talk about a little bit throughout this, to be relevant and impactful for the next 55 years. In my first 45 days, I say I've been impressed with the energy and passion that we have for this organization. So I've had a chance to interact with a number of members. I've had a chance to interact with a number of chapter leaders and chapter organizations. I've had a chance to stop by and participate within a few either meetings or events. And one thing that's clear is the members that make up the National Black uh, MBA Association are passionate about this organization and this group, and that will continue, that will serve us well as we move forward. There's a few things that we need to focus on, in my opinion. And so, first and foremost, as Paula mentioned, our core role is to help connect people, whether young people, fresh outs, or mid career people, connect people to jobs and jobs to people. And so that continues to be our core mission, and we'll do that work and do that work with excellence. In addition to that, we do a lot of great work in helping our members navigate the corporate landscape, building the skills, awareness, capabilities to manage and navigate one's career. And I think one, that's great work, and that will continue to be important work, particularly in this environment in current times. In addition to these things, and this is a thinking that something that we've always done, but I think we have a unique opportunity to maybe elevate here in the coming days, is building our voice in these times. As there's discussions about the role of DEI, as there's discussions about the role of the Black executive, I think it's important for the National Black MBA Association to be a voice, a beacon, to clarify our role, to clarify our importance, to clarify our value, and to clarify the role, the strategies, and the approaches that we can take to make sure we maintain our relevance in this corporate environment and in the communities in which we live and serve. So how do we do that? So a few objectives that I'll just talk about. And I wrote about this in my note when I first joined. Any leader and organizational leadership team needs to first sort of closely manage the financials and make sure that you have well functioning operating procedures and operating environment. And so that's the work of myself and the team, making sure that we are fiscally responsible, that we leverage the dollars that we have and that we're collecting to serve our purpose, and we do that well and do that with excellence. In addition, there's going to be a lot of increased work and focus to make sure that we are bridging and strengthening the relationship between our chapters and NHQ. That's work that's already begun and early days. I'll say I'm really encouraged with the conversations that I've had with various chapter presidents, the engagement I've had with chapter organizations, and some of the events that I've had a chance to participate in. And I look forward to being able to participate in more in the coming weeks and months ahead. So we'll build that. And then as a part of that, we'll hopefully grow our membership. We'll grow our membership organically. We'll grow our membership by launching and starting new chapters. And so at a point in time like this, where the work that we do is more important than ever, I see this as a place that will be attractive to folks that want to think through how they navigate this corporate environment, how they pivot if they're forced to pivot, and maximize their job opportunities and expansion opportunities therein. In addition to that, we want to work on building and strengthening our strategic partnerships. I've had a number of conversations with longstanding partners that continue to want to do good work with National Black MBA Association. But the question is, how do we do it in this environment? What's the language that we need to use? What's the approach that we need to take? How do we do that in a way that allows the company to protect itself and allows this organization to continue to be supported? And so it's opportunity for us to have some different dialogue and conversations with our partners, and we'll continue to do that so that both sides can win in this environment. We will continue to deliver programming with excellence, not just at conference, which is the mainstay of this organization. And so we'll deliver a incredible conference. I'm really excited about what we're going to do this year. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but also in support of that, doing a lot of programming that is in line with the times. Programming that talks about the current state of the Black executive, programming that talks about career management and financial well-being, entrepreneurship, and personal and physical wellness, and things like trending things like AI and things like that. We want to be that voice. We want to facilitate those dialogues and those conversations amongst members with experts so that we can elevate our understanding and our thinking and be prepared to come out on the backside of all of this in better position than ever. And I know that we can do that. And so those are just some of the short-term goals and things that you'll hear myself and the leadership team talk about. But all in all, what I'm most excited about is the chance to be connected with the 12,000 active members and be connected with the 80,000 people that have considered themselves friends and associates of the National Black MBA Association. In this time, in this environment, our work is more important than ever. And so to be in this role and leading this organization in partnership with each of you is something that I'm extremely proud of, humbled by, and excited. And I look forward to the opportunity to connect with you for those that I haven't met yet and to continue our work with those that I'm already working with so that we can continue to build on the great legacy that already exists with the National Black MBA Association. So I'll stop there. I'm sure we'll get a chance to get at questions later. And I want you to hear from the rest of the team about all the stuff that we're doing and plan to do. So I'll turn it over to, I think it's Paula that's next.
Thank you so much, Orlando. And speaking of legacy, so this week, the association celebrates 55 years of empowering visionaries. We celebrate providing mentorship, life skills, career exploration, and scholarship funding for well over 10,000 high school students through our Leaders of Tomorrow program. We celebrate being the conduit for millions in scholarship funding for undergraduate and graduate students to complete their course of study. We celebrate offering dedicated programming and thousands in grant funding to founders because we realize that entrepreneurship is indeed the greatest equalizer in wealth disparity. We celebrate offering professional development, networking opportunities, and a sense of community through our chapters spread across our nation. We celebrate convening the biggest and the baddest recruiting fair with 8 to 10,000 attendees annually in search of connection and opportunity. Every year, we witness new attendees' jaws drop at the sight of over 250 companies there to recruit talent for which our members are the target audience. Every year, we see those attendees leave with a renewed sense of hope and optimism, some with job offers in hand. And as we thought about how best to celebrate this incredible milestone, the thought of homecoming came to mind. We have had the privilege of impacting thousands per year for decades. We have equipped those thousands with the necessary tools to be successful and have seen them depart the nest, take flight, and soar. This year, we are asking those who have left to return home. As we celebrate 55 years, we are planning a homecoming that will remind us all that there is strength in community and power in the collective. Our legacy is rooted and grounded in that strength and power. We could all benefit from a sense of belonging. So many people right now are feeling isolated and disconnected from layoffs and displacements. Come back home. Remember the power of this incredible support system and community. Remember the genuine hugs and deep seated joy we feel when we come together and celebrate all that we are, all that we have become, and all that we will be in the future. Come back home. Not sure how you are going to navigate life's current challenges? Could you benefit from mentorship from those who have been where you are and successfully navigated their way through? Come back home. There are many of you who haven't returned home since you landed that first job. Your career has taken off. You have learned and earned and have now reached the pinnacle of returning. The next generation needs you to return your wisdom and insight. And because we know that you have always been that strong friend, we have curated experiences just for you to create and strengthen bonds with your peers. We encourage you to come back home. Let's draw from our collective strength and transform together. Ujima, we build and maintain community together. We solve community problems collectively. By working together, there is no challenge we cannot overcome. Come back home. We have created content with you in mind. We have curated meetups and share labs for you to connect with your tribe, to ideate and generate solutions to move the collective forward. These interactive experiences have been designed for more peer to peer collaboration. Why? Because in this season, we cannot afford to isolate. The cost is too high. There is too much at stake. We need all generations, students, alumni, professionals, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, change makers. Come back home as we continue this 55-year legacy of transformation. To speak a little bit more about how we have transformed conference with you in mind, I'd like to turn it over to Elaine Richardson, our VP of Conference and Events. Elaine.
Hi, Paula. Thank you. So I hope everyone's doing well. As we have thought this year about conference, we have thought very deliberately about what we could do to conference, not just to transform it, but to make it more usable for everyone who attends. So at the core of conference and expo is still going to remain our career expo. Hundreds of companies recruiting on site, the ability to interview, to interact in multiple settings will remain the same. And our Career Expo, as always, will run Thursday and Friday, which this year will be the 25th and 26th of September in Houston, Texas. In addition to that, though, we've taken a look at conference from the standpoint of thinking, what do people want who are attending? How can we better serve you in your jobs and futures, whether you're looking for your first job, your third job, your fifth job, or you're just trying to connect to your peers, to meet others, to build your network, or just to find people who do what you do and talk to them about the challenges that you're facing. And a lot of you guys will remember at last year's conference that we ran some Bluetooth beacons to get a sense of what people were doing. And what we found was that you really want to spend some time talking to each other in addition to talking to subject matter experts. So we have redesigned this year's conference to do a few different things. The first thing is to engage you with experiences, activations, and education that are not only sort of food for thought and food for the soul, but also allow you to engage with your peers and with other people who can build your network on site in more designed, structured activations and experiences where you can work together. This was going to allow everyone to spend more time talking to each other as opposed to sitting around having people speak to you. And it's also going to allow you to prioritize, where you want to spend time by giving you several options. One of the major changes you're going to see this year is that we have moved away from sort of long structured sit down luncheons that take a large chunk out of your day. You'll see more plenaries, you'll see more big ideas to start the day, and then you'll see those big ideas really permeate down through what's in the program to give you a sense of some key areas that we're looking at, including technology, wellness, and wealth building. The other piece that you'll see this year is that there will be one registration type. This year, instead of having a tiered registration, when you register for conference, you'll simply be registered for conference. You won't have to parse whether you're going to go to one thing or another. You'll be able to attend all of the programs. If you want to add a ticket to the pre-event Leadership Institute, you can choose to do that. But otherwise, once you're registered for conference, you'll be able to attend things as they fit your schedule and really build the conference experience that you'd like to see. I think, when we looked at this year and we considered what's happening in the world and what was going to be best for our audience, we have designed an experience that is going to bring you in, give you the ability to really go through, some key important learnings and areas to get some of those big ideas and to give you some food for thought that you can take with you into your current positions and use immediately. And as always, we want you to be able to build and strengthen your networks. And for those of you who are homecoming with us, to be able to, reconnect with people maybe you haven't seen in a while, to reconnect with your colleagues, and to emerge from conference really refreshed and re-energized to go forward. In your positions, if you're growing into a new position, looking for a promotion, looking for a new opportunity, to feel like you have the skills and enablement to do those things. We're excited to see what conference looks like this year. It's not a static thing. We always take feedback, and we're going to be excited to see how we can grow conference to better serve the needs of our constituents. But we also do like to have a fun time. So you'll also find all of those activities that you like to have that allow you to relax and relax with a group of people, who are like-minded. So we're excited to see where we can go. For those of you who were with us in 2019, we are returning to Houston, Texas. Houston is a unique city, offers us some unique opportunities to engage. And one thing you'll notice this year with the conference dates is that we're listing Wednesday to Friday, and that's to help you plan a bit better in terms of your travel. The intent this year really is for you to arrive on Tuesday if you're going to go to the pre-conference events, or Wednesday during the day if you're starting with our welcome reception, stay through Thursday and Friday. And then, you might choose to stay into the weekend in Houston and do some additional things. There's a lot to do there. And we feel like this year's event will give you some option not only to engage with the conference, but with the local community. So with that, I'm going to say that this feeds in to the overall, kind of transformation of our program this year. There's a lot to discuss when you look at what our programmatic offerings are going to be. And I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Learning Officer, Dr. Tan Morales, to tell you a bit more about the program thinking for 2025.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Even though we've been planning this all year, I still get very excited listening to everything that we've curated and designed for this year's upcoming conference. So lots of things to share here. As I celebrate my 1-year anniversary tomorrow, I'm really excited. We're at the point to launch our National Black MBA Institute. So coming in May 2025, we will be launching the Mastery Map, a proven framework to get unstuck, navigate change, and thrive in your career. And no matter where you are in your career, if you're mid-career, if you're looking for a pivot, if you're just thinking about how do I do things differently, better, how do I make sure that I am consistently challenging myself and making sure that I'm getting the best out of myself every single day, then this could be a program for you. So coming in May, be on the lookout for that. Check our social media. And this will be exclusively open to our members first. So in our newsletter and via your chapter members, your chapter presidents, you'll have all of the information you need to register. The second thing that I want to highlight here coming in June will be our 7 steps for significant leadership impact. So this is going to be for a bit of a more seasoned audience. So we're looking at a 6-week program with 10, maybe 15 years of experience, really thinking about all of the things you need to think about as you move up towards in your leadership journey. So, if we think about, you start as an individual contributor, and perhaps, you go into leading a team, and then you're leading leaders. And then what do you need to know that's special and unique and different when you're leading a business? Leading a business brings its own challenges, right? You're leading across cultures, you're leading across time zones, you're leading across different personalities and generations, and constantly being impacted with what's happening in the world, right? All of this change, and all that we know for certain is that things are always going to be uncertain. How do you deal with it? How do you navigate this ambiguity to continue to be a great problem solver? So, again, be on the lookout for that program coming in June 2025. The next thing that I want to mention here is our executive experience. So, Elaine mentioned that we have collected a ton of feedback, and Paula mentioned homecoming. Our executive experience is going to be our answer to those that have left the organization that said, I'm really not in a search for a career right now, or perhaps I'm no longer early career or mid career, and I want to still connect. I want to connect with peers like me that have the challenge that I have. I want to maybe even pour and mentor into young people. So, executive experience is going to be a myriad of things actually during conference, pre conference, and post conference. So, stay tuned for that as we'll release more details. Lots of fantastic partnerships and just a really, really great experience that you'll see over the course of this year. Now, they were talking specifically about conference. There's a few things. I'm often receiving messages about people who want speaking opportunities. So there's two different opportunities for speaking options. So we are looking for speakers for upcoming webinars. We do have a calendar of events for webinars for the remainder of the year. So if you're an industry leader, a career coach, a subject matter expert, you have something to say, it's important. It'll be great for our membership base, and you're looking to get your message out, and it's something that needs to be heard. Please reach out to my director of programs, Robin Edwards, at nationalblackmba.org. She is happy to share with you the list of upcoming webinars we have and see what might be a great fit for you. The next thing is, as Elaine mentioned, we're actually really curating more opportunities for engagement and experiences and really being able to connect. So there will be less opportunities for big speaking opportunities during our conference, but there are still some opportunities available. So if you're an expert influencer, specifically in technology, AI, investing in wealth building, and you have something, again, that we need to hear, that people need to know, that it's going to make us better and smarter, please reach out to speakers at nationalblackmba.org. We'd love to hear what it is that you have to share and see if you might be a great fit. Two last things that I'll mention. We are cruising to Spain, Italy, and France on July 20th through the 27th, with some opportunities to actually go a little bit further, a little bit earlier, somewhere around the 18th of July for a kickoff party. We have less than 20 cabins remaining. We've been promoting this cruise since Q3, Q4 of last year. We're down to less than 20 cabins. So if you are interested, reserve your spot while quantities last. May 1st is the absolute last day that you can register for the cruise and pay. However, if the cabins are taken before then, unfortunately, you will not be able to attend. So it will be a phenomenal time. Come to the Mediterranean with us. And the last update here is for university partners. Many university partners have asked about our graduate case competition. We definitely will still have our graduate case competition. Registration opens in just a few days on April 5th. And those students will be competing for $50,000 in prizes. So get your teams registered. The case will be coming out soon. Jesse Walker at National Black MBA can give you all the information in terms of the timeline, all the information about the case, the guidelines, the rules, and everything. And we love to see those students thrive. It's a phenomenal time for those corporate partners and sponsors that really have a business problem that they want, 30 or so people to address, right? Great way to get some new information and ideas flowing into their companies, and a great way for all the students and universities to learn from one another. So just a few highlights of things that are happening in my department. I'm so excited to serve in this capacity. And with that, I shall hand it off as we kind of talk about Celebration Week. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat.
Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Harold Reed, and I am the Vice President of Brand for National Black MBA Association. I'm really excited to kick off Celebration Week with the State of the Association and getting to hear from the leadership team, especially our interim CEO, to share his vision and how we move forward. In addition to all of the great things that are happening with the Reimagine Conference and some of our programming. We have a slate of great events for the remainder of the week. As you can see on the screen, we have the Legacy Series tomorrow, Shaken But Not Stirred, with Alex Gabbins and Miss Catherine LeBlanc. So really looking forward to that. Same time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Via LinkedIn live stream. And then on Wednesday, we have the Remix Real-Time Conversation with Real People. That'll be taking place at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And Paula Fontana will be moderating that conversation. And that is about the impact of what's going on for the past 90 days and the attack on DEI and how that has directly impacted many of us out there in regards to displacement and different positions that were connected to DEI. So please tune in for that. We'll talk about reskilling and other elements to help you navigate during that tough time, or during this tough time, excuse me. On Thursday, April 3rd, we will have a Houston Black Business Spotlight. So preparing us as we go to Houston for Transform from September 24th through the 26th, we'll be shedding light on some of the businesses that are within Houston that we can patronize while we're there and leading up to. So you'll see a variety of businesses that are in the Houston area that are doing great things, some of which may be led by our own members of the Houston chapter. So please keep an eye out for those via all our channels. We'll be sharing various updates throughout the day. And last but not least, we will be celebrating our birthday on Friday, April 4th. So to help celebrate that, we would love for you to share any images, any videos saying happy 55th birthday to the National Black MBA Association. And you can use the hashtags celebrate NBMBAA and hashtag NBMBAA 55. Those are two hashtags that you can share. We will be sharing after this conversation how you can put those on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll be collecting those and sharing them across our channels as well. Just show love to the organization, whether it's from a chapter perspective or a member perspective. We invite all content, and we'll be sharing those and redistributing them across our channels. And of course, NHQ will be sharing an awesome video before week's end to help us celebrate and say happy birthday on April 4th. In addition to that, we have been sharing out various correspondence across the board, mainly with our membership newsletter that we're distributing twice a month on the first and last Thursday or Tuesday of each month, depending on if there are any holidays, but typically on the first and last Thursday of each month. Within that, you'll see various elements such as tell us your story. So please send anything, whether it's a membership spotlight, whether you received a promotion or any great news across the board, please share that to us at marketing@nationalblackmba.org. Additionally, we also have the member marketplace. So for those members who have their own businesses, we definitely support entrepreneurship. Please send us to that same exact email, any imagery you may have, your social handles. And our goal is to continue to spotlight various businesses across the board that are led by our members to support entrepreneurship. It is a key part of who we are as an organization, and we want to make sure we're shining a bright light on all the entrepreneurs across the board, across each of our chapters. So please make sure that you're able to share some great imagery with us that we can spotlight within that membership newsletter that we shared. And Dr. Tan had already shared a bit earlier about any executives, members who have expertise in a certain area. Please share that information with Robin Edwards directly so we can figure out who would be a great expert to talk about their respective industry across the board as we go throughout the year. And those are all the updates from a marketing perspective on my side. If you have any questions, we are shortly going to open the floor for Q&A, and we'll address those as best as we can within these last 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you. And I will bring everyone back in the room. Just bear with me for a second. All right. The floor is now open. Please share any questions that you might have, and we will address them as best as we can in the time that we have. And you can share those questions within whichever respective platform you're using. I know we're having some technical difficulties on the LinkedIn side. The other two channels are working through Facebook and YouTube. So if you're able to add any questions in that component, we'll pull them and share them with the team so we can answer them as best as we can.
Got a shy audience today.
We do. Typically, we have a lot of questions, but I know on LinkedIn it's a little bit easier. And if you are on LinkedIn, I know you can't see us on that channel. You still can populate your questions there. That portion of it is still open because I can see some of the correspondence that has gone. So if you would like to ask questions there or feel more comfortable asking questions on that platform, please do so. And I'll just put a note in there as we're talking.
While you are typing that, I do see a question that popped up, and it is I will shoot it towards Orlando first. And that is, what is the impact of the current geopolitical landscape on our corporate sponsorship dollars? And that comes from one of our legacy leaders, Carol Copeland Thomas.
Great. Thanks for the question. I was waiting for that question. I figured it was on our minds. So look, it's a unique time. We're having some unique conversations, and so I think if I would frame it, sort of three different buckets. So there are some organizations, depending upon their relationship with government contracts or the like, they're under they're being challenged. And so organizations that are directly linked to DEI, they're under very specific direction to not participate. And so we've had a few of those, not lots, but we have had a few of those. The bulk of people are kind of in the middle where they're trying to figure it out. What does this mean? How do we navigate? Maybe we have to change the language a little bit. Maybe we have to position things differently. So there's discussion and dialogue about how do we continue to do the work that add value to both sides, for us as an association and our members, and for them as an organization that wants to tap into the talent that's represented by National Black MBA Association. And then there's probably a third bucket of people that are excited or motivated, let's use that word, to engage us and want to participate. But again, say we want to help, we want to play, we want to participate. That hasn't changed, but we do have to be thoughtful about how we do it in this environment so that there's a win-win on both sides. So you heard me use the word in my opening remarks that it's going to be important for us to pivot. It's going to be important for us to be thoughtful. This organization has survived 55 years by one doing good work, but I'm sure pivoting when needed. So I think some of those skills are going to be required at this time. One thing that I learned early in my career, there's two elements to solving a problem. There's the process, and then there's the outcome. And so we want to be laser focused on the outcome. We want to be able to continue to offer connection to jobs and jobs to people for our members, for those that are affiliated and associated with us. We want to continue to help our members navigate the corporate environment so that they can maximize their success and impact, whether they're in corporate roles or entrepreneurs. And we also want to elevate our voice, or the voice of the Black executive. So those are the things that we want to be able to do. That's our work. And so maybe we do have to do some pivoting to support our sponsors and our partners in being able to deliver that end outcome. We'll have to figure out what that looks like. And so those are the discussions that we're having. But I'm very encouraged. People are excited about conference. They're excited about the 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 reformatting of conference, the fact that, as Elaine talked about, we're creating more fostering of discussion and conversations. As Paula talked about, coming home and having connection. As Tan talked about, sort of some of the different topics that we're leaning into. So those are things that are in and of the moment, and I'm super excited and proud of that. That this organization is maintaining its relevance by focusing on what's in and of the moment. And so more to come, but I'm encouraged thus far.
Thank you for that. This next question is probably better answered by Harold. Is the 30% membership discount for renewals as well as new membership? And is the promo code active now?
So yes, the promo code is currently active. Um, as a standard, we typically do the codes for new members or pre-members, folks who were members prior who may have lapsed in membership. But we can come back to you on the other portion for renewals. But currently, it is for uh, new members or folks who were members in the past that don't currently have an active membership.
Good stuff. We value your membership.
Absolutely.
This next question comes from one of our former chapter presidents, Andrew Hamilton. Can you repeat the steps to add potential speakers or subject matter experts to your directory? And that would be for Tan Morales.
Absolutely. So, if you're interested specifically in learning about our year round webinars and want to reach our broader base digitally, you can email robin.edwards at nationalblackmba.org. So, nationalnbmbaa.org, robin.edwards. If you are interested in speaking opportunities during our conference, and you have expertise around tech, AI, wealth building, investing, then I want you to email speakers at nationalblackmba.org. So speakers at nbmbaa.org. Thank you.
Good stuff. I know a few members of the team um, are passionate about this particular topic, so I'll sort of leave it open. And it comes from one of our chapter presidents, Maisha. How are we re-engaging current members and reaching out to inactive members, especially those in executive roles, to bring them back into the fold and activate their leadership within the organization?
Well, there's a couple tiers to this. I can start. I mean, I'll personalize it a little bit. And so you heard Paula talk about homecoming, and some of that was born out of some of my personal kind of experiences over the last 45 days. If you haven't figured, I'm older than everybody here, and most of our members. But National Black has had an impact on my life and my career, and so coming back in this interim CEO role is a unique opportunity to sort of complete that circle for me and for a lot of my colleagues, friends, peers. They've said, "Hey, Orlando, congratulations, excited for you. How can I help?" I said, "Well, we need to get you re-engaged, get you re-involved. You need to come back home." That's kind of where that sort of started. And so when you think about the pressure that's on DEI, when you think about the pressure that's on the Black executive in this environment, when you think about the things that are going on, whether you are going to college, thinking about, or on your way to college, recently graduated and trying to get your first job, you're in the middle of your career and you're potentially pivoting, or those of you that have been working for a number of years, conversations about wellness and well-being, financial well-being, AI, and the impact that that's going to have, uh, 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 managing a corporate career versus entrepreneurship. There's lessons to be learned no matter which stage you are in. And so I've been personally just tapping into my own networks to try to create that encouragement, and hopefully that moves from just a few folks to a bit of a movement, which is part of what the messaging was here in this last 40 minutes or so. But more work that we'll do, and I'm sure others on the team can add to my answer and make it even better.
Tan, did you want to add Anything to
Yeah, well, I'll say is Harold and I have been having some fantastic conversation around target marketing, specifically leveraging our alumni. I think we have 80,000 or so alumni. And so, how can we ensure that even if they're not current members, that they're reaching our messages? And so, Maisha, one of the things that will be as we kind of finalize our executive experience and some pretty fantastic strategic partnerships that shall remain nameless at the moment, but pretty phenomenal partnerships that we're working on. That's definitely the role that we're going to take is kind of target marketing folks that have been here that have benefited from the organization are wanting to find their home, wanting to find programming, networking, social events, receptions, mentoring opportunities that meet them where they are in this season of their career right now. So stay tuned, it's on the way.
good stuff. We have a question since you were just talking, Tan. Can you better elaborate on the change in conference structure, moving away from keynote luncheon to a different format programming option?
Yeah,
And it could
absolutely.
be Tan or Elaine, either one.
Yeah, so I'll start and Elaine, feel free to jump in as well. So we definitely are gonna during our Leadership Institute on Wednesday, we're definitely gonna have the keynote luncheon. But on Thursday and Friday, we're going to actually have more opportunities for what we would call plenary. So the main difference is it's not a meal function, and so that makes it actually more accessible for attendees. And this is the year that everyone needs to hear these messages, right? This is the year that we need to be more inclusive, that we create opportunities for all to hear what is happening in our evolving landscape. So we really purposely decided that we're going to have bigger spaces and not segregate by meal functions. So there'll be big ideas during the day, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning, and you'll see the flow follow those themes, whether or not it's something experiential and engaging, something you can see, experience, touch, simulate demos, products, things like that, activations that will bring to life that really kind of follow the theme of the day. We'll also still have our scale up. Our scale up pitch competition. We'll still have our graduate case competition, and we'll still have our town halls and kind of big moments to generate bigger ideas as a collective. So we will still continue to have big main stages. The main difference there is that there will be a theme for the day that is red threaded throughout the day and more inclusive, so more people can attend. So where it may have been 400 people, we may have 1,000 people in the room or so.
Yeah, I think that's a good explanation of what we're trying to do. The other thing, and I'll just say it because we know it to be true. I mean, the lunch isn't really great, so no one really loves the convention center food. It's kind of meh. There's limited options, and you also have to kind of think about when you're sort of trying to time putting 900 to 1,000 people in a room, getting them all sat down, getting them all food, getting, it does, structurally make it less agile, right, in terms of how we do this. So, to Tan's point, we'll be starting the day with a big idea plenary, with the idea being like, look, now is the time for us to talk about big ideas, and then for us to kind of break those down. So, we will have a day where we're talking about technology, and we'll be able to start with something that really gets you thinking, and then have things that come into place that really allow you to dig into those topics. But we do know you have to eat, right? So it's not that there's not going to be food. We're just not going to have, a big giant luncheon. So we will be trying to leverage some additional things. We'll be leveraging some, food trucks. We'll be trying to work to bring in, some of the local businesses that do food to be able to have those options available to you. So there might be something you actually would like to eat. It isn't like you just have to show up and be like, oh, I have to eat this thing and I don't really want it, or it doesn't meet my dietary restrictions or whatever. So, part of the idea behind this too is to sort of understand that after you hear something, you might want to go talk to somebody while you have your meal, right? Or you might be an introvert and you might just need to get away from crowds of people and go eat by yourself where no one can talk to you. And this will give you some better options for that. So, as we kind of get into the conference period here in April, registration should open up toward the end of the month for main attendee registration. You'll get some more information about what this all looks like. But this was very deliberate on our part in thinking about how we could do this better in a way that wasn't going to feel like let's just say that people have told me they're not going to miss the convention center lunch. So
Can I add something to that too? So, like 2 weeks ago, I posted an article where I was talking about DEI versus MEI, MEI, merit, excellence, and innovation. And my point in that article is that we're not fearful of MEI. In fact, we welcome it as long as we have equal access. And so, this organization is about equal access. And so, to the point that Tan made, there are going to be very important messages and topics that we're going to discuss. And we feel it's important that we have equal access, that people all have a chance to hear us talk about wealth building and AI and technology and all the big topics. In these times, that message needs to be heard by all and not be differentiated by ticket pricing and a luncheon, that type of thing. So that's part of the impetus and something that we feel that we're actually excited about. I think it'll be great. It'll create huge energy when we tackle these big ideas and then break them down over the course of the day and give you a chance to get connected based on topic, based on your expertise, based on where you're from, and then there'll be a chance for mentoring, as we're inviting people to come home, our senior folks to come home and mentor down, but there's also going to be an opportunity to reverse mentor. I know one of my biggest mentors is my 24-year-old son, as he helps me understand AI. Those opportunities will exist because we're going to create them at this at conference. And so I hope that helps, but that's why we're doing it this way.
Thank you for that additional color. Our next question comes from a leader in the St. Louis chapter, Gail Holmes. First, kudos, then a question. So she really appreciates the strong communication channels that have been established during regular one-on-one meetings between leadership and the chapters and NHQ. And it's clear it's about fostering greater engagement. So she was wondering if there are plans or thoughts on expanding this approach to include other key areas like finance, governance, and marketing, as those functions are also beneficial to dialogue. What are thoughts on ways that we can provide consistent alignment and collaboration? And I will start with that one and then turn it over to Tan for additional and say that we have established development meetings. So bi-monthly, we will have development as part of those regular check-ins just to make sure that we are all aligning. And I do know that Tan has invited other functions to join in on conversations as well. So I'll turn it over to Tan.
Absolutely. There's a few things there. So one is we do have monthly membership meetings for folks that are looking for membership strategies. Monthly, I also do host a chapter presidents meetup, and where we may bring in Paula or Elaine or Harold to specifically talk about what's happening in marketing or with conference or One Black MBA, which is which is kind of how even the bi-monthly development meetings came about. So the more we hear, the more we'll continue to keep you guys engaged. The second that I'm super excited about is I mentioned during our chapter retreat last year that we were looking to bring on a community engagement tool to really help us communicate digitally. So kind of have our own intranet internally where we can segment into groups or, figure out who has, which skills you're looking for or geolocate or, folks that specifically are looking for mentors or mentees. So that will be coming down the path pretty soon. We just got that locked and loaded Friday, I believe. So stay tuned for ways for us to digitally engage as an organization via web browser or app. So lots of exciting things coming to keep us more engaged as a community.
Can I just add? So I agree with everything that was just said. There's a book that I subscribe to, written by a guy named Dr. Scott Page, called The Difference, and it talks about how teams can outperform individuals, and diverse teams outperform homogeneous teams. And one of the drivers of that concept is this idea of collective intelligence. And so you have to be connected and collaborate in order to tap into that collective intelligence. And so that should be foundational and fundamental for an organization like the National Black MBA Association. And so transparency and opportunities to connect, share, communicate and collaborate is fundamental, and the value and the power of this organization comes when we do that. And so, in the 45 days that I've been here, that's what I've seen, and we're going to try to build and promote more of that as best as we can, in order for us to tap into the power and get the benefit of the 80,000 of us that sort of are sort of part of this umbrella or underneath this umbrella. So more to come.
Good stuff. I know we are beginning to wrap up on time, so I see a couple more questions. We'll see how fast we can get to them. Speaking of connection and engagement, are there ways that we can create more meaningful ways for members to really engage and have a voice in the various aspects of the organization? How can members become more involved?
So let me start. I mean, so the answer is that's what we want. The second question is, do you have ideas? So it sounds like behind your question, it feels like there's a thought or an idea for what that would look like. Because that's some of what we want to do. I personally am trying to just engage. I'm actually in New York right now. I'm going to swing by an event that the New York chapter is going to host tonight. I had a chance to go to an event that the Atlanta chapter had last week. There's some other chapters that have reached out and asked for some engagement. So I'm going to try to do that as best I can, whether it's virtual or in person. But this is an opportunity where we want to tap into the collective intelligence of our organization for the benefit of our organization. So we have thoughts and approaches, and I'm sure some of my colleagues here will augment my words and make them better. But I know you guys have ideas too, because you hit me up with them via email or when I'm out and about. And so, yeah, that's why you're laughing, Harold. So let us know how we can best do that.
Good stuff. Tan, will there be a seminar on those looking to leverage an MBA to make a career pivot?
We will have tons of content this year around upskilling and reskilling because this is the year of change. There's so many people being impacted by, apartment eliminations, layoffs, cutbacks, et cetera. So, if you think about what you need to upskill and reskill, it's MBA agnostic, right? The skills that you need to learn, the things that you need to understand in terms of self-awareness and where you might have blind spots, et cetera, are, really agnostic across the board. So I mentioned we'll be hosting monthly webinars, so stay on the lookout. They'll mostly be on LinkedIn Live. We'll have at least 6 topics during our annual conference that will apply. And then we definitely will be hosting some workshops for graduate students and recent grads around, moving out into the marketplace. So just stay close to us and our socials, and you'll get everything you need there.
Good stuff. And on Wednesday, we have an upskilling workshop that we will provide outside of conference. So please join us for that and get all of those nuggets from that incredible panel. So I will direct this one towards Orlando. Has the association been contacted by the current administration? Are we being threatened at all because we are a historically Black organization, and how are we preparing for that type of challenge?
Yeah, we have not been contacted or threatened like directly. The environment is challenging for many of our members and for some of our sponsors and partners. But I had a boss tell me years ago, you never want to waste a crisis, because a crisis creates opportunity to get focused. A crisis creates an opportunity to get better. Crisis creates opportunity for clarity, and that's what we're in. And so we're getting clear about the value proposition of the National Black MBA, its relevance in today's environment. You've heard us talk about the type of programming that we're going to offer, not just at conference in our kind of reimagined sort of construct of conference, which we're excited about, but also around, year round. I'll personalize it. I've tried to challenge myself to deliver messaging, working with the marketing team to send articles that are relevant to what's happening today. And many of you are responding to that and encouraging us or pushing us to do more things. And the local chapters are doing similar work. So we haven't had anything direct, but the environment is the challenge. The environment that we're in is the challenge. So, in preparation and response to that, the work that we've outlined here on this call is the work that we need to do in order to navigate and be best prepared for whatever's going to come.
That's good. Thank you for that. And we are, my goodness, out of time. This has been incredible. We appreciate your taking the time out of your day to spend with us and to learn more about the association. We ask you to continue that engagement. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you throughout this week as we continue to celebrate 55 years of incredible excellence of this organization. If you have anything else to add, please, again, don't feel free to reach out to us. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your day.